Mrs. Margaret Dean was 68 years old. She lived in a quiet village in the English countryside. Every morning, she made herself a cup of ginger tea and sat on her wooden chair by the window. Birds chirped, the sun rose gently over the hills, and the world slowly came to life. But inside her heart, something felt empty. Margaret had retired from her job as a school teacher 5 years ago. She spent her days reading the newspaper, watering her garden, and watching television. Her husband had passed away a few years earlier, and her children were busy with their own lives in different cities across the UK. Life had become quiet. Too quiet. One day, while sorting through an old cabinet in the attic, she found a dusty notebook. It was brown, worn out, and smelled like forgotten dreams. She opened it. On the first page, written in her youthful handwriting, were the words, "My bucket list. Visit Paris and see the Eiffel Tower. Write a book of short stories. Learn how to swim." Margaret stared at the list. Her eyes welled up. "When did I write this?" she whispered. She remembered. She was 25 years old when she made that list. Back then she had big dreams. She believed life was long and there was time for everything. But then came work, marriage, children, and responsibilities. She always said, "I'll do these things later." Now 43 years had passed. She wanted to go to Paris, but her knees ached, and her doctor warned her against long-distance travel. She wanted to write a book, but her fingers trembled if she held a pen for too long. She wanted to learn swimming, but her heart was weak, and the doctor said, "No stress, no risks." She sat quietly. Tears fell on the notebook. "I waited too long," she whispered. That evening, Margaret did something different. She took a gentle walk to the local park. She smiled at the children playing on the swings. She sat on a bench next to a young girl, sketching in her notebook. Margaret looked at her and asked, "What are you drawing?" The girl smiled. "A story. I want to make a book one day." Margaret nodded. "I wanted that too, a long time ago." The girl tilted her head, curious. "Why didn't you?" Margaret was quiet for a moment. Then she said softly, "I thought I had time. I kept waiting, but time never waited for me." The girl looked thoughtful, then said, "You can still write, Auntie. You just told me a story right now." That night, Margaret couldn't sleep. The girl's words echoed in her heart. "You can still write." The next morning, she opened a notebook. Not the old one, a brand new one. On the first page, she wrote, "New bucket list. Write short stories for children. Read books about Paris. Teach swimming theory to kids, even if I can't swim." She smiled. "I may not visit Paris," she said, "but I can read about it and imagine." "I may not swim," she said, "but I can help others learn." "I may not be young," she said, "but I can still live." Every morning, Margaret began writing. Her stories were simple, warm, and full of love, tales of her school days, acts of kindness, and forgotten dreams. She visited the park often. Children gathered around as she read her stories aloud. They laughed, clapped, and begged for more. One day, a local teacher overheard her storytelling and invited her to speak at a nearby primary school. Margaret said yes. Soon, her stories were featured in the school's newsletter, and eventually, in a small published book. Her dream was coming true. Not in the way she had imagined, but in the way life allowed. She looked at her old bucket list again, but this time, she didn't cry. She smiled, because she had learned something priceless. You don't need a perfect time. You just need to start. If you wait too long to live, time will live without you. Dreams don't have expiry dates, but time does. Life doesn't wait for the perfect moment, and neither should you. Don't wait for someday. Start today. Live while you still can. Because dreams are not just for the young. They are for the bold. For those who dare to begin, no matter their age. If you keep waiting for the right time, you may spend your whole life just waiting. Start now, with what you have, where you are, because every small step you take today brings your dreams closer and fills your life with purpose and joy. Don't let time pass you by. Live before it's too late. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you never miss another story that inspires your soul and brightens your day. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video. Stay kind. Stay inspired. Goodbye.